just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker. Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark. Even got that homebrew flowing.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In the news tonight, Fijian soldier undergoes surgery after being shot by a stray bullet in Sinai. Rugby murder suspect appears in court. And digital literacy to take center stage in Fijian schools. A Fijian soldier serving under the United Nations Multinational Force and Observer Group in Sinai has been injured after being shot. Akosita Tale reports the incident happened around yesterday at 6:30 p.m. Fiji time.
A Fijian peacekeeper, Kini-Viliame Dhambe-Mailau, serving under the United Nations Multinational Force and Observers Group, is recovering from an injury he sustained at the northern Sinai Peninsula. The northern camp, where many of the Fijian soldiers are located, came under fire from militants engaged with Egyptian forces. The camp received indirect fire in the form of mortars and small arms, impacting the vicinity of the camp.
Our soldiers went to their gun pits or fighting positions, and whilst manning one of those positions, one of our soldiers was shot in the abdomen as a result of stray bullets that were coming into camp. He was then evacuated to medical facilities in Israel, where he is recovering well. It is not life-threatening.
The injured personnel will be undergoing surgery to remove the projectile, and if all goes well, he should be discharged in the next 48 hours. However, the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Talemai Vatuiri, has given assurance that morale is still high in the Fijian contingent camp.
We are confident in the actions taken by the multinational force and observers, by the force commander and his team on the ground, in regards to the posture taken by the multinational force and observers. And also the measures that they've put in place to mitigate the threat against our personnel and others serving with them.
Meanwhile, 2 other soldiers that were previously injured after encountering a roadside bomb a fortnight ago are back in camp and are recuperating well. There are 338 members of the RFMF serving under the Multinational Force and Observers Group in northern Sinai. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Military personnel and several health officials who just returned from the Golan Heights were hosted to a Thanksgiving service at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Suva today. General service medals were also awarded to some.
More than 300 soldiers that have served in the war-torn Middle East were today praised and acknowledged. RFMF Deputy Commander Brigadier Mohammed Aziz commended the men and women for a challenging year of service.
For all of you, we salute you for your commitment in serving for world peace, in serving RFMF. Your contribution has brought in smiles and happiness amongst many faces in the region we have served in.
308 personnel paraded today and were acknowledged for their services in restoring peace in the Middle East. Some of these officers were also part of the 45-member soldiers that were captured in Golan in the last 12 months.
We were challenged with the fact that personnel of this contingent were detained. With the praise, with the good wishes of the people of Fiji, the government of Fiji, the commitment of the international community, we are pleased to have you all back here with us today.
Some peacekeepers from the contingent have been deployed to Lebanon and are expected to return home in a month. Others are already undergoing training as replacements in Nandi to be ready to fly out next month. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The man charged with the murder of 15-year-old Simran Singh on Wednesday afternoon in Naria Raki was produced in a special sitting at the Tavua Magistrates Court this morning. 36-year-old Maloni Motheawa has been remanded in custody and the matter has been referred to the Lautoka High Court. Motheawa is charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of act with intent to cause grievous bodily harm to Jainendra Singh, the father of the deceased girl. Police prosecutor Nitesh Kumar said the accused should be remanded because the prosecution has a strong case against him and the matter is of public interest. The matter will now be heard in the Lautoka High Court on the 28th of this month. A digital literacy framework is now in place to teach young Fijians the basics of using computers and web-based applications. Run by the Ministry of Education, the initiative has been made possible with help from an NGO and international computer companies.
My education, my future, my Fiji.
Under a pilot program, 6 schools will be provided laptops and tablets, internet access and computer literacy classes.
Today, every profession demands technological acumen. Our students will now receive the basic training they require to succeed and continue Fiji's economic progress. This program will prepare and empower our young people to reach their full potential as productive members of our society.
The Reach for Your Future Foundation was the driving force negotiating between the Education Ministry, Microsoft and computer solutions company Hewlett-Packard. It took months of planning and preparation, but now computer classes will form a core study area, eventually reaching all 900 schools in Fiji.
We need a policy that's for Fiji and not cut and paste from Australia, New Zealand, anywhere. And as I said it before in my documentation, we will implant the policy for Fiji, embedding all our cultural values as well, and that's very important.
Hewlett-Packard, which is a partner in this initiative, believes digital literacy allows children to explore all possibilities and feed their own imagination.
Within every single device that they can have access, they should be able to collaborate globally on any project, on any learning and development opportunity.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama says Fijians who grow up with knowledge of digital technology will be on par with the world and make successful entrepreneurs. Edwin Nunn, FBC News.
The new market and bus terminal for Nausori Town is now open. The $3 million project is part of government's continuing program to deliver the best possible services and infrastructure to Fijians. Savara Tamboa has more.
More than 1,000 people living along the Rewa Delta witnessed the opening of the much-awaited project that is sure to boost the local economy. Vendors won't start shifting into the new market until the 22nd of this month, as finishing touches still need to be put in.
This project is arguably one of the most important because of its potential to empower our people economically. The many hundreds of Fijians who come by bus to Nausori to sell the crops they grow and the goods they produce from all of the surrounding region.
I'm looking for going to a new market because it's good and good facilities.
I am looking forward to shift to the new market come 22nd of this month. You know, for the old market, sometimes when it's rainy condition, the roof is leaking and damaging our products.
The new bus stand will also open on the same day and be constantly monitored by 4 attendants and a clerk. Traffic lights and other road safety measures are also provided to ensure the safety of people cross between the market and the new bus stand.
We also provided, as you'll see, the barriers along the central medium there because really we don't want people just crossing indiscriminately across 4 lanes of highway. It's a busy stretch of road, Kings Road, so it's all around safety.
The market replaces the old market that has stood since 1938. The long wait for this new and much improved market and bus terminal has now come to an end. The new facility will cater for the needs of the people in the provinces of Rewa, Teilevu and Naitasiri. Sabera Tamboa, FBC News.
Still ahead on FBC News, Nasinu Secondary School celebrates 35th anniversary.
Wala mo na siya matumay, hanagan ko rutaki na yan rubang ikevika. Na mautomay huga tali tigun na bisere, waraki mo niya nagan ko rutaki ngo na yan rubang i FM. Nimbulo benaka, oya wabika na isoro, ranyo na tomani o mai na vito ne kabe kina tini karuwa nung bongi lebu. Nangona waro taki, sekoya na yan rubongi. Nambulo FM, nambandua, sere.
Authorities are worried with the careless use of water being carted to drought-affected areas in the West. Commissioner Western Manasa Tangidakimbao says they've come to know that people are using the water for other purposes apart from cooking and drinking, despite the strenuous circumstances. Savaira Tambua has more.
Commissioner Western Office is at the front line of efforts to ease the burden felt by thousands of people who don't have water. However, the emergency water isn't being conserved.
This water are being used for gardening, are being used for animals, are being used for washing other things, which is just right. And our advice to them is, please, use the water wisely. The water that is being cutted, it is meant only for drinking and cooking.
3 million liters of water has been cutted to more than 30,000 households since the dry spell resulted on loss of water sources such as streams and boreholes.
Trying to coordinate our responses with all the other stakeholders, all the other line ministries, Water Authority of Fiji especially. Our ministry have allocated some funding for this response, and in this case we have purchased water tanks.
Tangidakimbao says what little rain was received in the past few days is not enough to address the shortage of water. Areas affected include the entire Western Division, Outer Islands and parts of the North. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Schools in Levuka used the opportunity at the National Climate Change Summit to know more about climate change and its effects, not only on their island, but also in the Pacific. Eleanor Tarangaivu was in Levuka and filed this report.
The hosting of the National Climate Change Summit in Levuka provided an opportunity for students on the island to learn more about the impact of climate change on communities.
Climate change is rise of sea level. It is when we use a lot of sprays, smoke from factories.
Several NGOs set up information booths outside the meeting venue.
The purpose I had in mind, firstly, just to so that the children can have more knowledge on sustainable development of our forests and our shores, seas, and about global warming. Secondly, on their career path, maybe if they want to grow up, they want to go into have a job in this forestry and the global warming section here.
One booth that caught a lot of attention belonged to a delegation from Tuvalu.
I understand by climate change because I understand about the people in Tuvalu. They were suffering from the rising of the sea levels, and I feel so sorry that they have to go to the other islands and beg for food and water and some shelter and food source.
Tuvalu is low-lying islands. It's flat, no hills and mountains, and it is most affected by climate change.
The students say they want more such information sessions brought to Levuka.
Mostly in school we just learn more theory, but now when they have come here to this summit, it's more realistic to them what they've learned in school and what they've learned here.
The 3-day workshop, which ended yesterday, saw students from about 10 primary schools visit the information booths. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
2 people have died in separate road accidents in the last 24 hours. A 6-year-old girl was a passenger in a vehicle which veered off the road and landed in a sugarcane farm in Tavwood this afternoon. A 49-year-old woman died after being hit by a car in Vishnu Deer Road in Nakasi Nasinu last night. The road death toll now stands at 48, compared to 37 for the same period last year. Nasinu Secondary School marked its 35th anniversary today. Students, parents, teachers, old scholars, and even the Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama were part of the celebrations. Shireen Lata reports.
Nasinu Secondary School was opened in 1980 with a roll of just over 100 students. It has progressed since then. More than 900 students are now studying here.
The school provides me more talent so that I can show while right out of the gate I can have to present what this school has teach me.
The day was dedicated to celebrate the success of the school. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama also took out time to meet the teachers, management and the parents today. Old Scholars Association President Waisea Bolatolu says they not only believe in providing education to local students, but neighboring countries as well. The school currently has 34 Pacific Island students, 21 from Nauru, 9 from Tuvalu, 1 from PNG and 3 from Vanuatu.
We have had people who have rise up in the government civil servants. We have reached PS level, deputy secretaries, directors.
The school management hope to extend vocational classes in near future. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
Coming up in FBC Sports, all eyes on Flying Fijians in London. And Nandronga retains Fairbrother Trophy. That and more after the break.
रात को सपने तो जरूर आए होंगे। ये सपने क्या कहते हैं?
और बस थोड़ी ही देर में देखेंगे कि आज आपकी किस्मत के सितारे करते हैं क्या इशारे।
नई आशाएं और हौसले भरी सुबह की सुहानी शुरुआत करें हमारे साथ। मैं आपकी हमसफर मोहिनी
और मैं दीप्ति। सोमवार से शुक्रवार सुबह 6 से 9 तक
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।
The attention of the world media, pundits and opposition is all on Fiji, a week out from the start of the Rugby World Cup. Today the team again trained at the famous London Irish Rugby Club grounds and there were eyes on them from all angles. Indra Singh with this report from London.
The eyes of the world are firmly fixed on the Vodafone Flying Fijians as they work on getting ready to face England next Saturday.
Well, look, to be in the opening game, you know, you've got to put your best step forward. It's you're on the world stage and the biggest event on the rugby calendar. The players have been waiting for a long time for this. The event. Some of them.
The attention has gone up another notch since Fiji's win over Canada last weekend, coupled with former England internationals and current players chipping in with their comments, or some could say mind games.
Focusing on their task. And that's what the management and myself are trying to impose to the boys.
At training today, coach John McKee didn't shy away from talking, but the mentor does have some unspoken surprises up his sleeve.
You always know that when you get to the World Cup, the media is going to step up and certainly, playing the opening game plus playing the host nation the opening game, probably doubly so. But for the boys, I mean, I think, that all that, the media and everything, it all helps with rising to the occasion, and it's all part of the challenge.
And coupled with that, it's also about controlling emotions.
They're excited about it and they're really looking forward to it, but we're just trying to compose them and keep them calm because everyone is excited about this tournament.
The eyes of the world is firmly fixed on the Vodafone Flying Fijians as the countdown again continues here in London ahead of the big game against England. Today, the coaching staff putting their boys through their phases as they build up to meeting England, who are tipped as the top bats in that game, but knowing Fiji, they can take down anyone on their day, and that is the talk here in London. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
The newly designed match balls to be used at the Rugby World Cup is being talked up by players who will be kicking for points during the tournament. Amongst them is Flying Fijian Nemani Nandolo, who says he is ready to plant those kicks regardless of which ball is in use. Here's Indra Singh again.
Holding his best friend for the moment with dear life as Nemani Nandolo knows he has a major task on his hand.
We played Canada on the weekend and we used some new rugby balls of the World Cup, and that was pretty good, obviously it's different from the other balls that we're usually playing with, so yeah, it worked out really well, and they're really easy to kick with.
While he managed 22 points last week against Canada and surprisingly didn't score a try, The robust wing says it's all about doing the best for the team.
Yeah, exactly. This World Cup, there'll be no room for error. Whether it's you're running the ball or trying to score a try, or in this case kicking. And been fortunate enough to be kicking for Fiji.
The focus and attention is on Fiji, but Nandolo is no stranger to this, as his days with the Crusaders in Super Rugby hasn't been different.
We just got to make sure that we just keep chipping away, and when the opportunity arises, that we take it on.
It will boil down to getting those crucial points off the boot, and he has already shown his coolness in converting them when needed.
We've got some good self-belief within each other and within the camp, and look, people are going to talk outside and say we're not good enough or say we are good enough either way, but look, we're just worrying about ourselves, and look, the hype has come about us, and obviously playing against England and being here at the World Cup.
The Londoners are bracing for a Nandolo storm, and everyone's talking about this big man despite it being his first World Cup. So with his kicking boots on, Nandolo's planting of those kicks could just come in handy for the Flying Fijians. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, defending champions the All Blacks has arrived in England for this year's tournament. Remember, you can watch all the matches from the Rugby World Cup live right here on FBC TV. The Nandronga rugby side defeated Naitasiri 21-14 in the third challenge of the HFC Bank Fairbrother Challenge today. Nandronga led 15-0 at the break and held on for the 105th victory in 75 years of the competition. Here are the tries.
And comes away quickly and in for Vaitokani, for Lutu Mailangi. Oh, they got numbers. Oh, and the try for Nandronga. Straight through goes Samuela Bava. Kick charge down, picked up by Nandronga. And the ball comes in for Nangusa. And the big pass there for Manoa Tamaya. And Manoa Tamaya will get the try for Nandronga. Still working hard. Out from Raratambu, Etonia, Levula, out in the corner, and Patimbuto looks like has put that down over there. Referee just checking with his assistants, and he says it's all right. 6 minutes of added time. Away it goes from Navia, Etonia with the show of the ball, Nasoni Rocco, and Nasoni Rocco very close to he scored the try.
Suva will next week challenge Nandronga for the coveted trophy. The Rewa Galaxy Football Youth League final playoffs started in Suva today. Defending champions Rewa were held to a 1-1 draw against Northern champions Lambasa. In the second playoff tomorrow, Lambasa takes on Ba at the Fiji FA Academy grounds in Suva. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Cup qualifier today, Lautoka came from behind to defeat Ba 2-1 in extra time at Govind Park. Mainly fine, cloudy and cool weather conditions were experienced over most parts of the country today. A weak frontal system with associated cloud and showers lies slow moving over the group with cool air over Fiji. In temperatures, most centres were a steady 26 degrees today. Ba was slightly higher, while Mombasa topped the chart at 32 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast is for cloudy periods and afternoon showers over the Fiji group. And for Monday, expect a few showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Fine elsewhere, cool at night. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. And the main points again. A Fijian soldier is undergoing surgery after being hit by a stray bullet while on duty in Sinai. A man has been charged and brought to court in relation to the death of a teenager in Raki and reports that people in drought-stricken areas aren't using water sparingly. Time for our poll question. This week we're asking, is enough being done to prevent suicides in the country? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.